Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sam back with MPS Fitness, and I just wanted to make a short video today on how to determine your macros if you want to track your calories and macros, which I highly recommend because it's a great way to track your progress because you know exactly what you're putting in your body and what's causing the changes, what's causing the weight gain, what's causing the weight loss, what's causing you to look better or worse, and you can make changes according to that. So let's go ahead and get started with a got the whiteboard out actually. So once you have your maintenance calories figured out, and I'll link a description box below on a little calculator or form you can fill out to figure out a rough estimate of your maintenance calories. Now, that's not going to be exact, so what you want to do is experiment the first few weeks depending on your goals. We'll get a little more into that. But just for the video's sake, let's say we have a 170-pound male who maintains on 3,000 calories a day. Now, if you wanted to bulk, I recommend a smaller surplus, so I would recommend him to take in about 3,200 to 3,300 calories and then see how his weight goes from there. If it goes up a small amount like he wants, then he could keep the calories the same. And if he's losing weight, then he could bump the calories, 100 calories, 25 carbs or something. So anyway, let's just say, for example, this 170-pound male wanted to bulk. So he's going to take in 3,200 calories a day. So we have a 170-pound male who's going to be taking in 3,200 calories. So let's first start with the protein. I like to recommend 1 gram to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. And if you're bulking, I recommend the lower spectrum of that, closer to 1 gram per pound of body weight. And if you're in a caloric deficit and dieting, I'd recommend you be a little higher protein just to maintain as much lean body mass as possible. But that's just the way I prefer to do it. So let's say he's going to take in 170 grams of protein. So 170 grams of protein is going to be his protein amount. So then next we're going to figure out his fat content, or his fat amount. I like to recommend at least 20% of your calories to come from fat. There's other amounts you could go higher or lower. It's all depending on personal preference. But for me, I usually keep my fat around 20% of my total calories. So to figure that out, we are going to take 3,200 calories and we are going to times that by 0.2, which is 20%, and that equals 640 calories. And since a gram of fat has 9 calories, you are going to divide that by 9. I don't know if you guys can see that. So you're going to divide that by 9, and that's going to give you 71 grams of fat, roughly. So you got 71 grams of fat. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys can see that. So we got 170 grams of protein and 71 grams of fat. So now that we know those two, the only macro left that we need to figure out is carbohydrates. And so basically we're just going to fill in the remainder of calories with carbohydrates. So to figure out how many calories we have left, we already know we have 640 calories coming from fat, and we have 170 grams of protein. So since there's 4 calories in a gram of protein, we're going to take 170 and times that by 4. I don't know if you guys see that. And 170 times 4 is 680. So we're going to add that with 640, and 640 plus 680, hopefully my math's right, I don't feel like using the calculator, is 1,320. So that leaves us with a good amount of carbs here. So we're going to take 3,200 calories and subtract 1,320, and that will leave us with 1,880 calories of carbohydrates to have. So we are going to take that 1,880 and divide that by 4 because there's also 4 calories per gram of carbohydrate. So that divided by 4 is going to give you 470 carbs. So this guy's got a good amount of carbs coming in. So his total macros would be 170 grams of protein, 420 carbs, and 71 fats. So there's his macro breakdown. Now, like I said earlier, the fat and carbs is a little more preference. He could even bump the protein up if he wanted, but that's just a general guideline or a somewhere to start with your macros. And now he's gonna over time want to make changes to that. So say if he stops gaining weight, he could add 100 calories in. Now for me, I would just add 25 carbs, but you also want to keep your fat around 20%. So eventually, let's say he added 50 carbs, he might have to bump his fat up a few more grams to keep it at 20%. But for the most part, I usually add mostly carbs once I stop gaining weight and have to add calories. Now let's go ahead and do an example with someone who is dieting and trying to lose weight. Go ahead and wipe the board off. Okay, so let's just go ahead and say it's the same guy. And so he's bulked for a while, and he wants to go on a diet and lose about a pound a week. So this guy's still maintaining on 3,000 calories. So he's maintaining on 3,000 calories, and there's 3,500 calories. Every 3,500 calories that you are in a deficit is a pound of fat you're going to lose, or a pound of fat. So he wants to be over the week in a 3,500 calorie deficit. So to do that, he needs to be in a 500 calorie deficit per day. So that will put him at 2,500 calories for the day, because that's 500 less than 3,000, which he maintains on. So we got him at 2,500 calories. Okay. We got him at 2,500 calories. So once again, we'll start with the protein first. So now that he's on a diet and he's going to be in a deficit, a decent size deficit, I'm going to go ahead and recommend him to have 1.2 grams per pound of body weight per protein. I mean, he can get away with 1 or 1.1, but if it was me, I would do 1.2. So let's go ahead and do 170, because he's still a 170-pound male. Let's say this guy is 170 pounds, and we'll do 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. So he's going to take in 204 grams of protein. And that is 816 calories from the protein. We'll just go ahead and get that out of the way now. You guys can see 204 grams of protein. That's 816 calories. So next, we're going to want to keep him at 20% of his calories coming from fat. So 20% of 2,500 is 500 calories. So we're going to divide that 500 by 9, and that's going to give us 55.5 grams of fat. Okay, so we have his fat and carbs. So we're going to go ahead and take the 2,500 calories and subtract the protein calories and the fat calories, which is going to be 1,316 calories. And that will leave us with 1,184 calories of carbs. And we're just going to divide that by 4. And that's going to give us 296 grams of carbs. So this male's macros on his diet would be 55.5 grams of fat, 296 carbs, and 204 protein. So you guys can see that. Okay. Now, when it comes to fiber, I don't specifically count the calories and fiber any different. I just count them as my carbs. But I like to aim for at least 30 grams of fiber a day. But a better, or I guess a general rule of thumb you could go off of is 10 to 15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories you're taking in. So if this guy was taking in 2,500 calories, and I'd recommend closer to 15. So let's go ahead and say this guy should be taking in around 35 to 40 grams of fiber a day. Now that's not gonna do anything for your physique. That's just for health reasons. So there you go, guys. That's a way to calculate your macros. If you guys have any more questions, please leave a comment below, subscribe, like, and hopefully this video was helpful.